You know, for most of our lives, we're taught that a high IQ is pretty much the golden ticket to success. But what if that's the very thing that's actually holding you back? Let's get into it.
So I want you to think back for a second. Were you the smart kid in your class? You know, the one who always shot their hand up with the right answer, who finished tests first, who all the adults praised for just being so intelligent? If that sounds like you, then this question is especially important, because that identity, that smart kid label, can create some very, very real problems in the adult world.
And that, right there, is the core idea we're going to unpack. This quote might seem a little extreme, but it points to a hidden trap. The very intelligence that opened doors for you as a kid can start to build walls around you as an adult. I mean, we're talking about these invisible walls of perfectionism, of being terrified to fail, and of struggling with problems that pure brain power just can't solve.
Okay, now look at this number, 77%. What do you think it represents? Just let that number sit in the back of your mind for a bit. We're definitely coming back to it, because it is the key to this entire conversation.
All right, so let's really dig into this idea of the IQ prison. How does that even happen? How do you go from being the star pupil to feeling completely stuck as a grown-up? Well, it has everything to do with the identity that gets built around being smart.
So, check this out. It's kind of wild how the very perks of being the smart kid can morph directly into problems in adulthood. All that praise for getting good grades, that can create a crippling fear of failure. Being used to problems feeling easy, that can lead straight to analysis paralysis when you're suddenly hit with complex, messy, real-world challenges. And, always being the smartest person in the room can make it incredibly difficult to learn how to truly, genuinely collaborate with others.
Which brings us right back to our mystery number. If being the smart kid isn't the whole story, and it's clearly not, then what is? It's time to solve this 77% mystery and see what the data says really drives success in the adult world.
And here it is, the big reveal. It turns out research suggests that your raw intelligence, your IQ, only accounts for about 23% of your success as an adult. The rest, that massive 77% chunk, is made up of other factors. So if your whole focus is only on that tiny sliver of IQ, you are missing the vast majority of what it actually takes to thrive. So that's the big question, right? What in the world is hiding inside that 77%? If raw intelligence isn't the whole story, what are the skills and the attributes that we need to be building to actually succeed? Well, we call these other factors the architectures of success. And that word architectures is super important. Why? Because these are not fixed traits you're just born with. They are systems and skills that you can consciously design and build over time. So here they are, the 4 big pillars that make up the bulk of that 77%: emotional intelligence, resilience, creativity, and collaboration. And listen, these aren't just fluffy, soft skills. These are the absolute essential frameworks for navigating the real world. Let's take a quick look at each one. First up, we've got emotional intelligence, or EQ. This is that superpower that helps you understand why your colleague is frustrated even when they say, "I'm fine." It's what lets you stay calm and lead during a crisis instead of just reacting with panic. In a world of complex human beings, a high EQ will often beat a high IQ hands down. Next up is resilience. Look, adulthood is just full of setbacks. It's inevitable. It's the entrepreneur whose first business fails, but who gets right back up and uses every single lesson to build something incredible. So resilience isn't about avoiding failure. It's a muscle you develop for bouncing back stronger, a muscle that many smart kids never got a chance to build because things just came so easily. All right, next we have creativity. And I want to be clear, this is not just about being able to paint or write a song. This is about seeing new solutions to old problems. You know the story of Post-it notes, right? A failed, weak adhesive becomes a billion-dollar product. That's creativity in action, connecting unrelated ideas to find a breakthrough. It's a vital skill when the old playbook just doesn't work anymore. And last but absolutely not least, collaboration. Think about it. Almost nothing huge in the world today is done by one person alone, from building open-source software like Linux to making a blockbuster movie. Being able to check your ego at the door, to amplify other people's ideas, and to work toward a shared goal, that's a legit superpower. An effective team will almost always outperform a lone genius.
Okay, so we know the problem, and we know the components of the solution. But how do you actually do it? How do you break out of the IQ prison and start building these architectures to become a truly effective adult?
So you want to break out? Here's a simple 4-step roadmap.
First, start looking at failure as just data. It's not a judgment on you, it's just information. Second, prioritize action over perfection. A good plan executed today is way better than a perfect plan that never happens. Third, actively seek out collaboration, especially with people who think differently than you do. And finally, be intentional about building these 4 architectures. Read books, take courses, find mentors.
This quote right here, it just nails the whole mindset shift you need to make. You have to let go of the need to be the smartest and focus instead on how you can act effectively. Real effectiveness comes from using every tool in your toolbox. Your intelligence, sure, but also your empathy, your resilience, and your ability to bring people together.
And honestly, this might be the most powerful takeaway of all. Your IQ might be relatively fixed, but that 77%, it is wide open. It's a construction site, and you are the architect. Success isn't some lottery ticket you get at birth. No, it's a blueprint that you get to design and execute yourself.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. Look at those 4 architectures again: emotional intelligence, resilience, creativity, and collaboration. Which one are you going to start building today? Because your true potential isn't defined by the intelligence you were born with, but by the skills you choose to build.